call this meeting to order at 18:30 hours for the recognition of the public, which is our esteemed reporter from the Reformer.
Hi, Mike.
And we got another fellow up there with the camera. Next item, the approval of the minutes.
I would like to make the motion that we approve the minutes from August 27th.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And you got a copy of that? Oh, no, we got one penny.
You'll
Sure.
I got one. Look at these, break on all these.
I got that, one of the light on it to work finally, but. Next item would be new business of BCDP information grant closing document approval.
This is all of the kind of necessary paperwork for the VCDP implementation grant for the housing project, you know, the big grant that they got, that we just started pass through and sub-granted to them. All of the legal documents that need to be done to get that done.
Get that money moving.
Correct. So, if you would, once I've passed all those documents on to Patty for her review, and she should be providing an opinion tomorrow. If the opinion is favorable, I'm a signer for that grant. I just wanted you guys to pass a motion indicating that.
We haven't already done that?
Not for this particular part of it. I mean, you kind of did a blanket one. Oops, I just kicked you.
I'm aware of that.
But this kind of is you're aware of both, actually.
I'll make a
Just to
motion.
be extra
Sure.
official.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize Katie Buckley to plan to sign the VCDP grant implementation grant documents pending approval by our town agent.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Conservation Commission Japanese knotweed problem.
Hot topic.
This is something we could, being at the conservation meeting, we could sit here and talk about all night.
I gather you did.
I'd rather I did, or
Did
did
you
not.
you gather you
It
did
did
at the
not.
last.
That's that stuff that grows down by the carpenters down here that grows up over the...
Yeah,
Isn't that purple loosestrife?
No, this is a big bush with the white blossoms on it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's becoming a problem everywhere, and it's like morning glory. You pull it out, and it's sold the two pieces, and both pieces sprout. You got two more plants. They did some work on Green River. Brian Colleran, I believe his name was, came out and then pulled up a lot of it. And Irene, of course, washed everything downstream. Bottom line is, talking to a forester Labor Day weekend, he said you can pull and tug and all that you want to do, but he says the only way you're really going to get rid of it is the good old cocktail. He said,
Because any little root will regrow.
yeah.
And if you cut it and just spread it.
Yeah, if you cut it, it's like the multi-far road, that's another one that's
Yeah.
taken over, and that was brought in here as a blessing for, what did Bill Gill say, permanent fencing or some sort of fencing?
Yeah,
that
we got
was-
one truck up there on the back of
Yeah,
the swing.
so that's another one, and there again, that one you gotta dig it out and get
So-
the roots all out.
What are they telling us?
Well, the Conservation Committee is hot on it. They want to get town involvement. They want every landowner that has it on their property to do the best they can to pull it up, get rid of it, or ask for help to pull it up and get rid of it.
I'm sorry, but I thought pulling up wouldn't get rid of it.
Well, if you pull it up and lug it to the trash pile and something, yeah, I mean, you just can't pull it up and throw it down.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it re-roots. It's not so much that when you leave a little root in the ground, that's going to regrow.
Yeah,
So it re-roots that way.
So you have to get all the roots out.
You have to get all the roots out.
Or round it up.
Round up, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be careful around the water sources.
I know.
No, but this forester said that, he said there's no way that you ever get it that way, so you have to spray it.
Okay.
So I have more to add to that.
I'm sure you do, I'm sure.
Unfortunately, our poor little bridge. You can only guess what I'm going to say.
It's covered with Japanese knotweed.
Of particular concern are the well-established knotweed plants at the base of both sides of the Green River covered bridge stone wall foundations.
Okay.
And Brian has done some research into funding possibilities for the removal and management and thinks our situation in Guilford may be well suited for a Better Backroads grant. These grants are most often given to towns for correction of road-related erosion problems. Although this usually means improvements to culverts and ditches, Brian has discussed the relationship of knotweed and erosion with the Better Backroads funders and believes we have a strong chance of receiving funds.
When? I mean, I'm just thinking of this FEMA money sitting there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I obviously heard of this at the conservation
Okay.
meeting. And I don't know how many of you get the Better Back Road magazine, I do. I haven't seen anything yet for a grant, but maybe coming down the road.
I think this is an ongoing grant program.
So
It is,
it's not like we'd get the
It
grant in
is.
2014, I guess I'm wondering just.
No, and I
Yeah,
think
maybe
Better
smaller.
Backroads is not a smaller kind
Yeah.
of, I think it's a nonprofit actually,
Mm-hmm, yes.
versus a
Yeah.
state engine. So, I mean, he's offered to help us with writing the grant, but has explained to me that the grant would be awarded to the town and that town officials, including the road crew, must be part of the process. In the case of knotweed removal, I think this would mean hiring specialists. The question is, would the Guilford Selectboard be in favor of looking further into this Better Back Roads grant? If so, we need to move quickly. Brian's job with A&R ends in early October.
Ouch.
Yep. And I think this is Linda Lemke who would probably drop this off just because everything is so very tight.
I would,
A picture for everybody to see the.
I would highly suggest that those of us that are going to the town fair do some research up there and see if there's
Sure.
not, it'd be a better answer.
Let me just pull that off.
Yeah.
You can see there was a back page. Deadline for the Better Back Roads applications is October 28th.
Yeah.
Well, if the deadline is October 28th, I think it would make sense to apply. I want to know what we'd be committing our town road crew to.
Well, that's,
Other than their support, I don't know what they would be.
What is their support, just
I
their
don't
blessing
know. I mean,
or
we
their
could
time?
look, I could, do you want me to explore it further?
I think that's all you get is a blessing.
Okay. Do you have a problem with, who would be pursuing it? You?
I can follow up with Brian
Brian
Okay.
Holland.
and see
Is
if
that
we
good
can
with
get
you?
as much of his help.
Sure, yeah, I mean, as long
if that
as
goes
it
to
doesn't involve
I'll do
any monetary expense from the town and or physical work from you or I, or.
I'm not pulling that
Oh,
knotweed out of
Mark,
the basement. All right, I'd like to make a motion that barring pulling knotweed ourselves, that we pursue the application for a grant from, is it Better Back Roads? For removal of Japanese knotweed at the base of the Green River Bridge.
I second that motion.
It would be more than a Green River Bridge, but yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
But that's what they're talking about,
But the
right?
grant would fund it just for the
Just-
bridge,
just the-
because
oh,
it's the
bridge.
Better Back Road, it would be under their program for that. The rest of it, that would be something different. And my guess is that the Conservation Commission will continue this as an ongoing project.
They are hot on it, yes, yes, they're gonna have everybody in town pulling the stuff up from the dump.
Good.
There's a lot of it at the old Guilford dump if you're all.
There is.
Well, between
That's
that
where
and
everybody throws it.
there are a lot of invasives around here.
There
You
is.
said the floral rose, look what that's done to the atmosphere. Terrible.
And that was brought in with the busing,
Yeah.
the USDA. Okay, discussion, updates, all these.
Yeah, I hate to say there's not much tonight to actually move on, but just more informational stuff. The Save Sweet Pond fundraiser is Friday night at the Meeting House at 7 o'clock.
How are they doing with ticket sales?
We would like to sell more tickets, so it would be wonderful if you all would attend.
I can't, unless you want Charlie Hill on there too, which you really don't.
How desperate we are for volunteers, but I was gonna ask if
Seven.
not, could you volunteer
I can't.
to assist?
Yeah, it's the usual, you will volunteer.
Well, you know what, we need someone to assist with parking, and since you're so
Good.
proficient at flagging, I figured it was a natural progression into moving cars into places rather than just along.
Yeah, Timmy just made that field up on top of the hill, that parking up there so they can walk
That'll be a
down.
long walk.
Sorry, I couldn't help.
Okay.
I can't.
No, okay.
I got a football game in Rutland.
I will be there with a child in tow. My usual volunteer helper is gonna come, Allie Buckley. And, I'm trying to get a couple of the kids just so we get some younger
Yeah. They
participation.
probably use that field for parking as we
I'm
do.
guessing.
Yeah,
Yep, and then trying to shepherd people up Center Road. I'm
Yeah.
sure there'll be some traffic control
okay, yeah.
of some sort, but that's
Friday?
That's Friday. And if you don't wanna go, you can always donate. Donation.
I did.
Okay.
That's because I knew I couldn't go, I donated.
Excellent, thank you. Much appreciated.
Swear to God.
So the town health officer is late in getting the paperwork in to appoint Dolores Hale, so by default, they appointed Dick. He's the chair of the select board. But looking back, it actually ends up working out fairly well, because Dolores can still do all the functions of a town health officer in terms of the legwork and still receive the pay, I would imagine, for the legwork.
Because we can have 2 town health officers?
I don't know.
Yes,
I mean,
we've
I
had
would
2
imagine.
before. We
Okay,
had-
that's
we
Dan-
had-
fine.
Dan-
we had
Dan-
we had Dan Engel
Right.
and Dolores.
We got 2 now, but I mean, that's,
But it's kind of good to have a heavy.
Mhm.
I mean, Dolores
Okay.
is. I didn't mean. I meant it in terms of power, not size. And I mean, he's gone to most
See,
of the sites anyway.
you have health officer and deputy health officer
Yeah.
and all of this stuff.
So I think we're okay in that regard.
So that doesn't require any kind of motion?
No,
No,
No.
state
just
security.
kind of informing. Update on the water line.
Just let me say, we did appoint Dolores.
We did.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, she's. I
So we
talked to
just
her
got our
today.
paperwork in like.
Okay.
Just-
I talked to her today and she said, oh, I now don't have a job. I said,
Mhm.
oh, yes, you do.
Mhm.
And it's-
Because I know that pays all of our bills.
Yeah.
What, $50 a year
Mhm.
or something?
Water line.
You want to get the updates then? Was that not our last meeting?
Sure.
Tom Halleck got married. First
He
of all.
did, and was not at the meeting, but he sent someone in his replacement. The water line's pretty much in the ground. It's done. They were flushing lines. They had discussed that this weekend they were gonna do part of it. They have to time it around Commonwealth's schedule, so as not to kind of mess them up. So they were starting it on Saturday and completing it on Tuesday. So,
They should be finishing it tomorrow. Yeah.
yeah.
They were down on Saturday, I know, in the rain.
Mhm.
You notice they filled in that hole in the field.
What's that?
Mhm.
That hole
I
in the
did
field.
notice, they filled in the hole in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what will be the schedule, or we just have to wait till the agreement's signed with Brattleboro before anybody has the option of
I think so.
getting water?
We have, obviously, from the last meeting, we have allocation requests that have come in. Only just 3 thus far.
Have we, aka you, done a form allocation letter yet?
No.
Because we're I mean, I know we're just
We talked
mirroring it
about
off
that,
of
yeah.
Brattleboro.
Yeah, so basically, our letter will look exactly like theirs, only asking them permission and approval to grant X so that we can pretty much sub-grant it. We're just a pass-through.
So do we need to, I mean, but still, a person needs to apply to us
Mm-hmm.
for
We
allocation.
apply to us, and then we approve it, and in turn, say, pending approval from Brattleboro, and then it goes back.
So nobody needs to apply directly to Brattleboro?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it comes in.
And if they do, they need to be consistent in their allocation requests?
Yes. Absolutely.
But they don't need to?
And one
Because
of
I
the
think that
things-
the housing project applied to Brattleboro, I'm just,
Yeah, and that was one of the things, they're being charged late fee. I said, why are you being charged at all? If anyone would charge you a late fee, it would be us. You should have,
they were doing that kind of too early.
way too early,
Yeah.
way too early. But they needed to do that for their paperwork, so.
Okay.
And one of the things that came through that meeting that was really important is, as a part of the allocation fee that people pay, when people pay that allocation fee to the town of Brattleboro, if they were a Brattleboro customer, it's the same exact fee, they get a meter for that. So it was determined through our meeting that if we're paying the same allocation fee, then the customers get a meter for that. So that's big, because that's
I thought
something,
they was getting the meter in anyway.
well, they would have had to pay for it.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? So they are paying for it,
They,
but it's included in a fee that they would have already been paying anyway.
Okay.
So instead of it being in addition to that fee, it's included in that fee. So great news.
Because
Did you
of the,
hear from Barb Sondag too?
Did I?
Mhm.
I did not. And, but that's only for regular size meters.
Mm-hmm.
So if people needed a larger commercial, you know, something that's gonna be a
it's up
bigger
it's up
line,
to 2 inch, right?
yeah, there's gonna be a charge obviously for that. Mhm.
Because of the pressure, I think it's gonna be recommended that they all have a pressure reduction valve.
Yeah.
From, my memory is right, it's at 60 pounds at the meter house up there, and the fire department's 120.
That sounds right. Do you remember that?
No.
Somewhere
Were you at the meeting on
Hank
Thursday?
Thursday, that's what we have an
Yeah,
engineer for.
yeah,
Okay.
that's why I suggested they fill the hole in. But,
Good.
yeah. So, yeah.
So, we're trying to nail down a day/time for our final punch list.
Are we having a meeting then this Thursday or
That
not?
is gonna be the punch list day.
And then Tom can't make
He
it?
can't make it, so we're trying to do a different time.
We're doing
that
work
day.
on there.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what to
Okay,
do.
good.
So that's where we stand. So all of that kind of upheaval in the village happened pretty hard, pretty fast, but it's pretty much over.
I want you guys to know, just because it is over, I think roughly 5 weeks after it started,
Mm-hmm.
that there was some speculation on, I think Isaac for one said it
Mhm.
could be 4 months. And so we were,
Nervous.
we never thought it was going to be, but
Mm.
we were very lucky. And they didn't hit any of the kind of ledge or obstacles that apparently can happen pretty frequently.
Well, they did hit ledge, but they were able to troubleshoot around it
Mhm.
on the B-barn spur. They were able to make some, anywhere they had little issues, they were able to tweak enough to adapt the
Yeah.
plan so that it didn't end up being this crazy, expensive.
I think part of the
change.
reason, frankly, I'm going to say is that Hal has experienced enough that he
Mhm.
had a lot of good ideas for workarounds like
Yeah.
that. You know, he's dealt with any situation you can imagine. So
And he likes to let you know that.
I can tell you how many hundreds of or thousands, what, 6 million miles of, feet of line that he's laid. He's told us that.
For 30 years.
Mhm.
So that's the update there.
Okay. Town office sidewalk, exterior lighting.
Do you want to say what you're...
Dan is temporarily gonna put some short pack or some asphalt in those cracks.
Some
And
cold patch.
cold patch, and then when we get a little better organized, we'll dig it up and
Do a new...
do it right, yeah.
Okay. Will that probably be in the spring? Or
No,
will it be in the
he was
fall?
gonna do it the other day, but I think he got sidetracked.
The digging it up and
Oh,
doing it
probably,
over.
yeah, probably,
Okay.
yeah. We'll do it in the spring. The exterior lighting, I'll see if I can get a hold of Victor. I've got several projects for him anyway, and I don't know whether we want to go with a motion detector or a, what do you call it, programmable, dusk to dawn, or,
I'd just go with the motion
Yeah.
sensor.
And also, too, if anyone were to come and do anything fishy around the office at night, it would just automatically go off.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
a fair amount of good computer equipment.
Speaking of that, something else what we had talked about a year ago or so, we need to get the front of this building around these doors painted. I just noticed tonight that the wood.
Oh, they look awful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we need to get that painted, straight and painted. There's a little bit of rot out there.
So is that going to be something we're going to have to budget for? How big so we should get that?
I don't think, yeah, we should get a couple estimates and stuff like that. Have.
What I'm wondering is, do we need to wait until our 2014 budget? Do we need to wait till after?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to wait till then, but what I'm
Because
saying
it'll cost,
is
okay.
maybe if we can get like, maybe Dougie or somebody to come over and give us an estimate. and show us.
Piece of beer.
Tom Sawyer.
Tom Sawyer. Okay, now,
I got several cans of paint we mixed.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, honestly, it could use a painting and a power washing,
Yeah.
because I don't know if you've gone all the way around, but it looks pretty creepy all around.
It's a little mossy.
And we've had a little tiny bit of garden maintenance. I don't know if anyone noticed that out
Nope.
front.
I'm so sorry I didn't.
That's okay. But it did make a big difference. I don't know. We asked the new guy that's doing our yard stuff if he would just just do a little spring and fall tune-up for us because it was,
Yeah. And do some of that tree too.
Okay.
so,
So it's all in the walkway and everything like that.
Kidder.
just to give you a little update. It went out to bid to 5 contractors in the area. LaRock, MT3, Guilford Excavating, Skip Baldwin, Dave Lozon, and then there's one additional person that's going to be coming who's doing work for the Emergency Watershed Protection Program in Halifax, who's going to be here, who's going to come over. There's a site viewing on Friday at 10 o'clock.
What's the scope of the work that we're talking about? And
It's right.
That's the scope.
okay.
This is what we sent out to each contractor. So it needs to be, bids need to be to me by a week from Thursday at 2 o'clock, and all work needs to be completed by October
Actually,
17th.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Oh, you know
I just,
where it is, okay.
because I know where they live, but it's
They
just,
sealed bids.
okay.
This is Irene work that
Right.
totally relocated a small brook on Hill Road and a
Debris
lot of
removal.
debris in the area. FEMA work.
FEMA work, I was gonna say this
FEMA
is,
work,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's outside of the realm of FEMA. It's not actually FEMA work, it's stuff that FEMA wouldn't cover
Uh-huh.
on private property. So the Natural Resource Conservation Service offers an emergency watershed protection program that funds debris removals so that towns can sponsor private projects to get the work done without FEMA paying for it.
And it's kind of, then it does pass through our budget again.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're the fiscal agent.
We're just a fiscal agent.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yep.
Okay.
So I mean, if you really want to, there's administrative stuff that we end up eating
Mhm.
as a result of that.
I think you've done a great job communicating about that. I'm just gonna say, 'cause it's been a fair amount of just
Yeah.
communication with it.
It's been a heck of a lot more work for a small project.
Yeah.
Village of Algiers Doggy Daycare, just a heads up that I've gotten a fair amount of feedback from people inquiring about that doggy daycare going into the business that's going to be opening.
Can we communicate with the owners? I'm just,
I have actually communicated with the owner, Peter Tonini,
yeah.
that there's permitting required. I went through and read all their Act 250 stuff,
Yeah.
and
I think you CC'd.
I did. There's been a couple of amendments to their original Act 250 permit just to kind of follow the conditions of the permits. And I was able to see their project review sheets to see what permits are required. And so when I talked to Peter Tonini, who coincidentally called about connecting to the water line, I said, while I have you on the phone, there's some concern about your business that's going to be taking place in regard to your Act 250 permit and compliance with your conditions. And he said, we're addressing all of our conditions. The person who's opening the business is addressing a certain number of permits. He's addressing a certain number of permits, so we shall see.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm wishing this person nothing but the best, just 'cause
Sure.
it would be great to have that
The
building.
concern is for people.
Yeah, it's that the permit conditions are met, that the wastewater is dealt with appropriately.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the animals outside,
Right, got it.
so,
I understand. So
and
I
the
just,
noise. So I get both sides of it, but the town has no authority over it.
no, I
We've at
understand.
least talked to the permit specialists.
Well, I'm glad because I want to be viewed as a town as supporting this effort
Yeah,
as much as we can. You know, if somebody's going to use that building that's been sitting empty, more power to
and if
them.
they're permitted and they follow the conditions
Sure.
of their permit, it is what it is.
I think the fire department shut them down last time because they couldn't get access on 3 sides. and that still may be an issue.
Life safety is one of their permits for sprinklering,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, in this case, you might be able to put the sprinkler in before they couldn't, or something.
Yeah, because they didn't have the water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so they should be,
Yeah.
with water, they should be in much better shape.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to know that you had that conversation, that they are paying attention to permitting issues.
Yes, they're
That
aware
this
of it. We've got a
potential
full-
renter is not gonna be blindsided.
Absolutely, and through that conversation, we learned that the potential lessee had contacted Peter
Mhm.
and said, you know, do you happen to know what the zoning is, what permits I need from the town?
Good.
And she had mentioned the state as well, so I think that person's in the know. So there could be a little bit of town chatter. There could be some truth lost in the shuffle, so.
Right, well, I did, as I told you, I did try to get word to the, I don't know her, but I said to make her aware that there are permitting issues, so I'm glad she's on it.
Yep.
Good.
Um,
Okay.
FEMA, we are continuing to work on the mitigation aspects of our FEMA work, which is Dan has an excavator rented and is doing the, because it's been breaking down, yeah, it's been breaking down, but it's not on our time to fix it, which is great.
Yeah.
So, they've been doing, you know, bank hardening and putting large riprap in places to mitigate for future events. So that's ongoing. And then I don't really have a highway. I think.
Highway, Alan hopes to get done with the mowing this week. He said he hopes to see the end of it. Yeah, back to the equipment rental. It's been down while it's been up. Luckily, the company's not charging us for the downtime. I don't know if he's going to, Danny's on vacation, I think, so I don't know if he's going to get back to grading, probably not this week, and then next week he'll be grading again. Other than that, everybody's working. Finances.
I'd like to make the following motion that we pay payroll of 9/2/12 for $4,628.78. Payroll of 9/9/12 for $4,607.72. For a total of payroll for $9,236.50. Along with that, warrant number 4 for $25,576. For a total of expenses for this is $34,812.50.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Communications.
Hang on. One second, to sign.
Yes, we have signed. Darn. Sign it up. Oh, no, you got the warrant. You got the warrant.
I got the warrant, so, you got the payroll there,
They're in there.
whoops, sorry.
It's in that manila envelope right
Yeah,
there.
I didn't know they were all together in
Jeez, I gotta take care of you all the time.
Do you want me to start
Sure.
going through communications? Your project review sheet, this is a blast from the past for you, because this was my first thing I ever did when I started my job here. For a wastewater permit for the Shrewland property. Remember that?
Yes.
The camp out on River Road?
there.
They're gonna convert an existing camp into a single-family dwelling on an existing 2-acre parcel.
Mhm.
So, the other item is a permit issued, a wastewater permit, for the Davis Guarino property. And at first, when I read through it, I didn't actually understand what they were doing, but I think they're delineating through this process their different segments, so that if they wanted to sell off pieces of their property.
So they're actually not building, they're just
No,
actually
no,
getting it.
they're
It's
clarifying their
square, yeah.
subdivision for
Right,
us,
right.
and almost like allocating
Yep.
wastewater permitting to each of the lots, so to
Right.
speak. And the last item for communication is Wyndham County Sheriff's report. Did you look at this already?
I read that report this morning.
All right, then I will look at it.
They've been spending quite a lot of time out here, which is good.
Oh, the sheriff hasn't.
Yes.
But you said you had, and I was like,
I
oh,
hope
great.
so.
They're not really how much tickets, but,
No, I think their presence is great.
yeah. There's been 3 different ones out here. Those 2 limited air and
Mhm.
the one that's,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Anything else?
I'm waiting.
I don't have any need to go into executive session for any
No.
reason.
No.
So you're waiting for me to make the motion to adjourn.
That made it motion, yeah.
Before I do that,
Oh, here we go.
did we want to set a work date, or do you want to just think about that another
I
day?
think we need to wait until they get the sign study done.
Oh, that's right, that was it.
Yeah,
Okay,
since I
sure.
don't know what we work.
No, that's fine, I knew there was
Stop or-
something holding
Yeah.
us out. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one we had talked about, was the waiting for the sign study.
Yeah.
I move we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.